Hello, and welcome to the podcast all about becoming a health coach. I'm your host, Megan McCrory.
And I'm Danna Hoffman, Megan's new co-host.
The first 23 episodes of this show were recorded back in 2018 while I was attending the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Those early episodes cover what Megan was learning during the first half of the health coach training program. And they're still a great place to start if you're brand new to the world of health coaching.
New episodes are focused on building a business as a health coach and what it really takes to grow something sustainable.
We share practical tools, real talk, and the behind-the-scenes stuff that helps you turn your skills into a business.
You can learn more and check out additional resources at becomingahealthcoach.ch.
That's becomingahealthcoach.ch. Okay, let's get into today's episode.
From the Swisscast Network. Hey friend, Megan here. Quick note before we jump in. You are listening to our special coaching series with Joanna, and this episode is one of our coaching debriefs. That means you are going to hear Danna and me reflect on the coaching session, talk through what we noticed, why we asked what we asked, and what we would want an aspiring coach to take away from it. If you want to listen to the coaching session that we're debriefing, head over to So Frickin' Healthy. The link to the playlist is in the show notes so you can follow Joanna's journey from the beginning. Okay, let's get into it. Hey, Danna. We are back and ready to recap, debrief, download your last session with Joanna, which was her 5th session. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, from a listener's perspective, I thought it was good that she was like, I think I got a handle on my nutrition stuff. Let's talk about movement. And then you gracefully took her back to touch a little bit on some of the stuff she talked about and then moved on to movement.
Well, first of all, would it be okay for you if I just ask you questions about what you mentioned at the beginning of the call, and then we will dedicate the rest of the call for movement and everything you asked about?
And I really liked how you did that because you're like, wait, there's a little bit of something here we still need to address. Let's not skim over that and then go back to movement. But I think you mentioned it at the beginning of your session when she's like, oh, I have all these things. And you're like, this is great. So, I mean, I think, could you talk a little bit about how when the importance of coming to a coaching session with something in mind, with something you want to talk about, and how Joanna was able to guide basically her own coaching experience by what she's asking for?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think first and foremost, it's keeping rapport, which is, the most important thing in a coaching session, because if we lose rapport with our clients, they're not listening to you anymore. They're thinking about how they didn't like what you just said, or it's not clicking with what they're thinking about and stuff like that. So I'm always super happy when a client comes and goes like, I have a ton of questions. Sit down. Are you ready for this? Because then I know I have so much information in my head, and I have so many things that I want to talk to every single client of mine. But it doesn't mean that it will resonate with them, especially in that moment. It could resonate with them next week or not at all. So for me, I love, it really tickles me when a client goes like, I got a lot of stuff that I want to cover today. Like I have a lot of stuff, or I have a few questions. I wrote them down, then they're in it. They're in it. They're really trying to utilize their time with you.
I brought up a lot of stuff. So
no, and that's perfect. That is the ideal call is for you to come up with everything and for me to just kind of feedback on that. So that's beautiful. They have thought about the session prior or during the 2-week gap that we have between the calls. And it just makes their experience so much better, with the coaching experience so much better. And for me as well, I just enjoy it a lot better. You know that she's ready to talk about very specific things, and she's thirsty for more information, which is just amazing.
Yeah. I really liked how you addressed getting into that mental space of, does she want to keep doing the food journaling, or does she think she should be doing it for you?
You sounded disappointed about not managing to keep your food diary. My question would be, is it something that you still want to continue doing in a certain capacity? Because I know we talked about kind of the keeping to a food diary versus just a dot in the agenda. So my question is, do you want to keep it at a certain capacity? You use the wording fell off the wagon. Do you feel that not keeping it makes you also not be as attentive to what you're eating? Where is the disappointment coming from?
I mean, mostly it's coming from the fact that I sort of promised last time that I would continue keeping it for a couple more weeks, and I didn't manage that. So I don't like to promise things and then not deliver. I think there's a little bit of that as well. If I noticed if I was keeping it, then I would be a little more careful about what I was eating. But I wouldn't say that like my eating habits changed drastically on the days when I didn't log my food.
And I think, we've actually touched on that before, and we talked about it, I think, also last time. And I think that goes to a broader mindset when it comes to health and wellness is the I should be doing versus this is what I want to be doing or I need to be doing, from what external people tell you should be doing versus what is going to work for you. And and sometimes it takes a few reminders to say like, okay, if
Not
you're
about me,
doing
it's
this
about you.
because it's good for you, then
Yeah.
keep doing it. And if you need help figuring out how to keep doing it, then we can do that. But let's dive back a little bit and say, why are you gonna, why do you feel like the need to keep doing this? So, and I do feel a kinship with Joanna from a data perspective. I was really happy to see that, her habit tracker and other things. Yeah, I do get geeked out about that. But I also understand the complex nature of keeping data, right? So one, I feel like I always, if I don't keep it like consistently, then what's the point? But on the other hand, it's like, if I don't monitor it and at least try to do a 90% tracking, then I'm then I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool that she still wants to do that, and she thinks that the value is for her, but how best, to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And look, that one of the hardest parts of being a coach is not giving them the solutions that work for us. It's helping them find the solution that works for them. Because of course, I can tell her exactly what works for me, but she's not me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like we all have our little ways of doing things, and she knows herself best, and she knows, oh, well, yeah, no, that's definitely not going to work. I tried that in the past, or whatever. You just hear it and you go like, cringe, cringe. Nope, never going to happen. So it's really important to go like, look, this worked for one client of mine. This worked for another. This worked for another. So it is always helpful to have some clients to suss out, what other methods there are to each thing. But to basically be like, look, let's brainstorm about this rather than be like, this is what you should do, is rather like, oh, well, let's think about it together. Like, what could work? Maybe you have an idea. I definitely have some ideas, but I don't know if they work for you. And when you come from that perspective of like, let's together find the way that works best for you, it clicks a lot differently than, oh, you have this problem? Okay, let's do it this way. Let's move on. And they're like, oh, I'm never going to do that. Like, why did she even say that again? And that's rapport. And then you're goner for that session. So, yeah.
Well, and I also think that if anybody hasn't been coached before and they're like, well, how can I apply this? Like, how can I take something away from this? When you want to start doing something and it doesn't work for you, like you want to start doing something habitually and you stop or you don't get started or whatever, what a coach does is kind of reflecting back, really just taking a few minutes and thinking, well, why didn't it work for me? What was it, the time of day I'm trying to do this? Is it because I just didn't remember? So maybe I can add a different reminder. Is it that I remembered and I really didn't want to do it? So if you dig in a little deep, well, why didn't I want to do it? Because I wanted to do it in the first place. So why didn't I want to do it when I remembered? Right. And this is the type of thing where a coach is helpful to ask these reflective questions and help you think about it. But you don't need a coach to do that. You can literally do that on your own, journaling, just writing out like you were writing to a friend, why this didn't work or, what was going on. And then really giving yourself the space to go, okay, is this really still something I should be doing or want to be doing? And if it's not working, then why not?
Love that.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. You're doing amazing, even on days when you're not, especially on those days.
I think the main problem is this. We read a book or we watch something on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, fill in the blank, depending on your on the generation you're in. And then you go like, oh, how simple. This is what I've been missing my entire life.
Yeah.
And then you don't manage to do it, or you do it and it just doesn't resonate with you. Or, again, many things can happen in between, but the immediate feeling and reaction is, I suck. Obviously, it's working for everyone else, but because I suck, it doesn't work for me. And so because I suck, I'm going to suffer and I'm going to, the whole negative aspect of it. So when you get into that, I don't see anyone getting into that rut and then going like, I'm going to journal about this. I'm going to take the time that I could do crunches to just journal about why I'm not doing crunches, right? I wish that most people wouldn't need a coach, but fact is maybe 1% of people don't actually need a coach to get to where they want to get because we're habitual human beings. We get into a rhythm of things, and it's so hard for our brain to motivate us to change that thing, even if it's terrible, smoking, drinking, whatever, right? It's so hard because our brain saves energy by keeping us in a loop. Yeah. So it's natural. It's something that we just have to deal with. It's something
Brain doesn't like change.
It hates change. It hates change. It hates change so much that when you try to lose weight very quickly, you will gain it back very quickly because your body's like fucking retaliating. It's like, no, what are you doing to me? And that's the thing, is that we internally, we want change yesterday. We want to watch a YouTube and already be going like, oh, click, it's done. I'm at the next stage. I'm superhuman. Bring on the next TikTok to tell me what to do, right? It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't, and it's just as easy. It's just as hard for us as coaches as it is for the people that we coach. Every coach needs a coach, right? Every person needs an accountability partner. Every person needs a way to find that works for them. I mean, I can give you just a little anecdote, right? My parents were here visiting. Hi, parents who never listen to my podcast. My parents were here visiting for a week. Now, my mom, awesome, whatever. My dad is a person who thinks that everything has to be done the way that he does things. He's on many spectrums. Doesn't matter. Let's not dig into him too much. But I realized when he was here, he was like, you need to do it this way, and you need to do that this way. And I was like, no, actually, it doesn't work that way. Like, not every person has to do things your way in order for them to do the thing.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people, A, think that way, and B, because of that, also think there is this one way, and I just need to find that one way. And it's not the way it works. Like, we need to test things out. We need to figure it out. Like, for Joanna, keeping a journal worked for a while because she had to do it for a study that she was in. But then that study ended and she didn't have to do it. Therefore, lost the accountability partner in that aspect, right? I wasn't pushing her to do it. I didn't say you have to do it in order to work with me. So she kind of went like, okay, well, then it's not a priority. And I think that's where things kind of go like, oh yeah, then if it's something that is helpful for you, but it doesn't necessarily work this way, let's find another way. Right. Where as humans, we just sit there and we're like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that brings me probably in the way we can wrap this up, but something also I wanted to point out is that when we designed this coaching experience to give to our listeners, to help them kind of be a fly on the wall, both of us knew that normally you have a minimum of 6 months working with a client every 2 weeks. That's 12 sessions for a full hour. And we were like, okay, but if we need to make this something we can wrap our brains around and also wrap our time around. So we said, okay, let's do 6 sessions, only half an hour each. And I think it really shows in today's session where it just takes time, right? Like if you have something very specific you want to work on, maybe 3 months is enough time when you're like, I need to do, like, let's say you got a diagnosis and you're like, I really need to change my lifestyle now because it's really imperative that I'm something bad will happen if I don't change my lifestyle now, right? This is kind of the best way to change lifestyle habits when you have an imminent threat of severe health injury or danger. But most of
Yeah.
us are not in a severe health injury or danger moment. So then therefore we don't feel that kind of urgency. And that's why it can take much longer to implement these changes and find out what works and find out what doesn't work. So thinking that you can fix yourself in a couple of sessions with a coach, it's not, it is I feel a much more long-term engagement with a coach. When you talking about habit change, you need to accept that it's going to take time. And I feel like when you say, oh, I have a 6-month engagement with this coach, and I think it also sets the mindset up of, okay, this is something that is going to go on for some time, and I'm not going to just give up after 2 weeks of trying something. Because in 2 weeks, my coach is going to ask me how it went, and I'm going to be able to reflect on that. Oh, it didn't work. And then she's not going to let me back down because she's going to ask me, well, what can you do differently next time? Or what might work differently next time? So just having that structure in place is also helpful for someone to, begin to do lifestyle or habit change.
I'm feeling already quite a lot more energy, like able to work through the day now. 4:45 comes up or 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh wow, okay, it's already that late, So really big change from a few months ago where I would just completely slump at 3 o'clock and feel like, oh, I can't do anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
My fear around the 3-month mark or the like shortened version of this is that life is going to happen, right? And I see this with my clients all the time who I work with in full capacity. It's like, okay, 3 first months are like the honeymoon stage and everything's working and stuff. And then all of a sudden there's vacation or birthday or holiday or whatever. And then all of a sudden they feel very lost because they fell off the wagon. I hate that terminology, but whatever, like fell off the wagon. Their habits changed because they were in a different surrounding. They were in a different place. They didn't have the security and safety of being at home and being on their regular schedule. And so things kind of fly out the window. And when there's not someone there to pull you right back and to just remind you, cool, that was a vacation. Now we're going back. Let's kind of talk about how we reintegrate everything that we learned. Then that's where people kind of slip off. And then they're like, oh, crap. And then again, the negative thinking of, I just ruined everything. I worked with this person. And then all it took was me going on a long weekend to ruin this. Right. So yeah, that's the only thing that I'm quite concerned about, but I'm always concerned about that. Also with clients after 6 months, I'm like, bye. And then I'm like, please just continue everything. Like you're doing incredibly well. Just don't let life throw you off.
Yeah.
But I'm not living in LA where my clients can afford me for life. So there's that.
All right. Well, then we have one more session with Joanna, and then we will see how everything turns out again after a very shortened period of time, but hopefully still impactful. But okay.
Yeah. I mean,
thanks, Don.
she's killing it. So I trust her.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
Hey, did you know that I have another podcast? It's called So Frickin' Healthy. And I started that podcast in 2022 with another IIN health coach named Danna Levy-Hoffman. So if you love this podcast, you're probably going to like that one because all we do is talk about health stuff. We have great experts on. Yeah, we have a really, really good time. So join us over there. The link is in the show notes. It's called So Frickin' Healthy because, we had to keep it a little bit PG. See you there. This podcast is a production of the Swisscast Network, amplifying English-speaking voices in, for, and about Switzerland. Learn more at swisscast.network.